All right, so I thought I had a little more time to hit that button. Your silence there was very frightening. I gotta say, the beard is coming in really nicely.
You like it, huh?
Yeah, it's looking pretty good.
I'll tell you a secret. It's just simply that I don't have a shower. I have a shower house outside, and
right.
to come off the beach or from the pool, I don't have my razor outside. So tonight I will put my razor outside. So when I shower, I will shave outside in my shower house. So I can, because I just don't have it outside, and that's where I do all my showering. So I'm not trying to make a statement. It's just being lazy.
No, I love it. So for those of you who don't know, Anthony and I are located in New York on Long Island. He's in the city part of Long Island. I'm on the Long Island part of Long Island. And this is the best time of year. From now for the next 5-6 weeks, man, this is the highlight of the entire season.
I'm trying to show you where I was this morning. I was having meetings all morning.
Yeah.
And I'll show you where I have my meetings. Hold on. Can you see it?
Put it. Yep. There you go. Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And nobody out there either.
Yeah. Look. Oh, there's some people.
That's awesome. So I went out to my first restaurant and ate a meal at a restaurant this morning.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. So went to this great breakfast joint. I met a friend who hasn't seen a friend since March, since the lockdown. So we decided to finally get together. And it's great because here on Long Island, to help businesses, they're allowing outdoor dining in a way that we've never had before in Suffolk County. And everybody's setting up great party tents and stuff. So they're converting areas in the parking lot to these party tents. So it's like going to an outdoor bar mitzvah, but you don't have to worry about the candle lighting ceremony.
And was everybody doing the right thing?
Well, yes, everyone is separated pretty good. Nobody had masks on at the table because everyone's eating. So we have to understand that that's not going to be. All the staff was in masks. Everyone was super friendly. Everyone was just really happy to be out and eating on such a gorgeous morning.
Was it comfortable?
Yeah, I felt it was comfortable. Although the sun was getting a little hot on my back there at the end, but
like it just was normal. Like when you were eating, you were like, "Wow, this is what a human being does."
That's the same thing happened when I was in Vegas with producer Jeff when we were down there. Is that once you get in and once you sit there, everything normalizes pretty quickly, right? That's why I was so glad to get out there, and it was just so great to feel human again in my hometown. You know,
I haven't been to a restaurant yet. Hopefully this weekend I'll have a beer with a friend at a bar overlooking the water.
That sounds great. Unfortunately, it looks like Florida is continuing to take a step back. About an hour ago, they just announced that there were 9,000 new cases, and on the heels of that, they closed all the bars in Florida until further notice. So we got that going on.
I've decided Texas closed bars too.
Did they? Yeah,
that's what Jeff just said. I've decided that instead of going, instead of having an opinion, everybody knows my opinion. I'm just going to be quiet and I'm going to be professional because if I go off, I'm going to lose my mind.
All right. This is good news for me because now if I ever want to say something on the show, I just start mentioning this stuff, then I could just take over. Right.
Well, you would just take me out.
Right. Well, speaking of all of this kind of stuff, let's bring in our guest.
Hey, before we do that,
yes, sir.
Before we do that, am I on my LinkedIn today, or have we not figured that out?
No,
yet?
I tried. I've been trying. If anybody, producer Jeff, we'll deal with this afterwards. Look,
all right. So hold on. No problem. So what
I have to do a hack workaround, Anthony. It'll take some time, but I'll get it up soon. I promise.
Okay.
But either way, this will broadcast on the LinkedIn channel as soon as this is over, and I download it and re-upload it.
The reason I ask is because I want people to vote on the beard. Does the beard stay or does the beard go? At least for the next couple of weeks. For the summer, do I keep it or do I shave it? So please vote. And at the end of the day, at the end of the show, we'll take a tally and we'll decide if it stays or goes.
Yeah, I think that's I think it's great. I want to see you keep it for a little while. I think that's great.
But you're not our audience.
No, I'm not our audience.
But on the show today, Glenn.
All right. Let's get
both guests.
All right. So coming up at 12:30, we got Harris Rosen. Harris Rosen is an iconic hotelier out of the Orlando market. You guys know you've seen Rosen hotels out there. You've been to the Rosen Center. He's a major person in there. The reason why we're having him on today, Feel Good Friday, is because he gives so much back to the community. We're going to talk about that. That's a great way for us to segue into someone else who's giving back to the community today. And that's really what our theme is all about, giving back, helping acknowledge the people that have helped you. Let's bring on our guest. Returning to the show, Mr. Rich Cortese of SVP over at Aimbridge down in Puerto Rico. Rich, this is great. You guys are getting back to it. The folks on the island have been really helpful, but over at the Hyatt Regency Grand Reserve, you guys are going to be helping first responders by allowing them to come and stay a couple of nights with you each. How amazing is that?
Well, we're bringing in sort of the forgotten first responders. We're bringing in the people that worked at the drugstores and grocery stores. Here, the government is taking care of the nurses and doctors and firemen and things like that. But these kids showed up. I remember going to the store back in April, and they were there every day, taking our temperatures and washing our hands and washing our carts. So
right.
We got together as a team and thought they would be a good group to approach and give them a free 3-day stay here. And what we did on top of that, because resorts are costly to a supermarket employee,
right?
We also threw in breakfast and dinner.
Oh, that's amazing.
So how's that work? First of all, thank you for doing that. And how's it work? So tell me, I'm a worker. What's the process?
All right, that was the problem, is how to implement it. Once we came up with the idea. So we got with the major retailers here, our supermarket chains and CVS and Walgreens, and we distributed it and made it very, very clear that the employees would have to be the frontline employees. It wasn't anybody working in offices or back of the house or senior people, and that they would distribute it to their employees. So we gave each one of these retailers a tranche of certificates, and they distributed it. And then we take the reservations. We block it at a certain number of rooms a night. I think we're at 30 on the weekends, 40 on the weekdays, till we burn through everybody coming through here at their leisure. We want to make it as comfortable for them and as much of a real vacation as anything else.
And are you getting a lot of local media talking about it, or?
We did get tremendous coverage, and the governor actually put it on our webpage.
Wow. Well, you know what? Again, thank you so much. And again, there's several frontline people, and those people are forgotten. And I know, just simple thank you. When I every single time I leave the grocery store, I say thank you for being here. I truly appreciate it. And
I want to say
do a lot more than that.
I want to say a shout out to my old friend Steve Pike, who happened to write the article that you did this, that then producer David saw, that brought this to our attention. So little shout out to Steve,
and David, thank you,
well.
our producer, our crackjack producer. I love it.
Yep. So this is a pretty costly endeavor for you guys. How many room nights do you think you're going to be giving away?
It's upwards of 1,200.
Wow.
Minimum of 1,000, up to 1,200 room nights, and they have up until the end of September to burn them off. And we're looking forward to hosting them. We're actually relatively busy here with local traffic, so it's going to be a very pleasant experience for them. We have a number of outlets open at the hotel. You guys were talking about going out to dinner. You could select 2 restaurants here to go sit and have dinner, just like normal times.
So with food and beverage and everything that you're throwing in, at the end of the day, it's going to cost you about $175,000. Is that about right?
Yeah, about that.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, Anthony.
I've been doing this a while. And that's a lot of money. I just wanted to come up with that number because that's a lot of money, and that
was a lot of money back in February. Now it's a lot of money,
and that's real money, because I don't want people to think, well, he's got the free rooms anyway. I'm just talking about his cost. I'm not talking about the profit he would lose if he sold those rooms.
Right.
I'm just talking about his cost. His actual cost after all those rooms are done will be about $175,000.
Yeah, the food and beverage is a big component, as you know, Anthony.
Yep.
A lot of people do things like this and they just throw in the rooms.
Right.
But we made the commitment to actually give them, the meals, and it's regular menus that they'll be selecting off of, just as though they're a regular customer here.
And that's impressive. That actually makes me almost teary-eyed. Actually, it does make me teary-eyed, because when you said the food and beverage component, I was like, oh, okay, he did it the real way. He didn't do it just for marketing. That's the real way. Just to give the rooms away, that cost would go down probably by 60%, maybe more. So that you're giving away the food, and it's amazing. And it's not like, well, you get the cheap menu, you're getting the full menu. So, my hat's off to you, and my beard's on for you.
Yeah, we're excited about it, and the feedback down here has been terrific. As you said, the local coverage was great, and it's good. It's been picked up in the States in certain places, but it's a conversation that's had by a lot of people when I walk into different places. They say, "You're really doing that?" I said, "Yeah, we decided to do it."
Yeah, and you know what? It's going to go a long way. So, what is it like if I want to get on the plane and go to Puerto Rico?
Wait, hold on. Before we get to that, and I definitely want to get to that topic.
No,
I got another question on this one topic. And I know that you see, I'm going to start talking masks again. Don't make me do it. All right. So, Rich, I'm thinking that there are a lot of hoteliers out there that are going to be inspired by hearing this. What are some of the things that they could do to implement a similar type of program? How did that community outreach work? How did you think about the number of rooms to put aside and all of that kind of stuff? You could maybe fill us in on the details. That'd be super helpful.
Well, I sat down with my director of sales. You have to realize we're a large resort. So 1,200 rooms when you have, 350 available keys right now, it isn't as huge a hit as if you space the people out coming in.
Right.
And to burn off those rooms in 3 months, we won't even really notice them here with the rest of the folks that are coming. So we just picked a number and we came up with it. We decided 300 packages. And we did the arithmetic, as Anthony said before. And they said, listen, we went to our owners and said, this is what it's going to cost. And they said, let's do it because we feel it's something we want to be a part of the comeback of Puerto Rico. And these people are the ones that are the least impacted by any of the benefits that are coming out from the efforts they put in.
Yeah, you know what? And that's a good point. And a lot of those folks didn't have the choice to stay home. Thank God I'm in a position where I didn't go anywhere for 4 months. But if I had to go work in the supermarket to pay my bills, I don't have a choice. It's not like they're there. A lot of them are not there because they're choosing to. It's they have to, and they do it with a smile on their face. So that is a tremendous thing. And people got to really realize that this event that's happened in the last 4 months, literally from an economic standpoint, the people that had money didn't have to go risk their lives. The people that maybe have to work paycheck to paycheck have to be on the front line. So to give back is absolutely really tells me a lot about your company. Now, let me ask you another maybe controversial question. Has Hyatt done anything as far as helped you with fees or done anything to kind of also donate?
Yeah, Hyatt's been terrific. We have a number of Hyatt hotels within Aimbridge, and they've done this for all their franchises. They've greatly reduced their fees and have been very, very good to work with, to be honest. I will say they surpassed my expectations.
Wow.
That's really nice to hear.
They've
been great.
And also, I'll just put this back up real quick. Now, Rita Amador says that you're also welcoming first responders by extending your Hyatt friends and family rate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So who is that young lady? She work for you?
She's my director of sales.
Keep an eye on you. But so put that up there again, Glenn. So
yes, sir. Coming right up. He beat me to it, producer Jeff.
So Hyatt Regency Grand Reserve is also welcoming our first responders by extending our Hyatt friend and family rates. So if I'm a fireman in New York, can I get the friends and family, or is it someone on the island?
It's presently on the island.
Okay. All right, great. Well, that's fantastic. Thank you very much. And thank you for keeping him straight.
All right. All right. So let's get to Anthony's question. Anthony wanted to talk about traveling.
Dude, I'm 55 years old. I forgot my question.
Yeah, that's why I'm prompting you. I'm a plucky 49, baby. So,
Dude, I forgot my question. Are you kidding me? 5 minutes later, you actually remember what I was going to ask?
You had said, Rich, you're traveling back and forth to the mainland United States from Puerto Rico. What has the travel experience been like for you?
Well, interesting. I just got back 2 weeks ago from a trip to South Carolina, which I traveled via Florida, and I flew on major airline, and it was extremely comfortable. This particular airline kept the middle seat empty, and the plane was full. You had to wear a mask throughout the flight. They served everything in plastic bags. So you got your water bottle, your snack, and a napkin in a plastic bag. They even had a protocol where they walked down the aisles because so many people were washing their own seats that they had a protocol where they came and picked up your dirty towelettes so that you wouldn't put them in the seat pack.
Yep.
So the flight was great. The airport was clean as a whistle in Puerto Rico, and we landed in Fort Lauderdale, which was also clean. But the only thing in Fort Lauderdale, they did not have any amenities open except for the newsstand. In Puerto Rico, we have a little bit of we have grab and goes available in Puerto Rico.
Right.
Coming back to Puerto Rico was a really enlightening experience. We came through. We came past the luggage. We got off the plane. We went past luggage. When we were trying to exit the airport, you're greeted there by about 40 people with 20 computers, of which are medical and National Guard. And they're very courteous. And they ask you, are you visiting Puerto Rico? You do live here. You present your driver's license. They ask where you're staying. You fill out a card so they know where you are in case anything transpires or happens with the plane. They take your temperature before you're permitted to leave. And they also offer if you would like to be tested. So what I did, I decided I wanted to see the whole protocol. So I said, I'll get tested. They sent me to another section. They put me in a chair. It took about 3 minutes. Nurse called me in. She pricked my finger. I went back to my chair with a number on it. She had my number, and then she came out it was under 5 minutes for sure.
That's
and
great.
She gave me a card and said that I was negative for SARS and COVID-19. And then I went home, and they had my address where I was going to, and I felt very comfortable that they were keeping the airport secure.
And by doing that, it keeps your hotel secure, because kind of what we just saw in Florida, the bars are closed. So the guy that went through a lot of financial problems because they were closed, opened up, got some cash flow, and now just when he was getting to pay his bills, he's got to close his bar again. So by not doing it slow so they can go fast, doing it fast, they have to go slow again. So their airports are protecting your business.
Yeah, and the other thing that's really worked out very well here in Puerto Rico, which I've lived here for 22 years, and I've been really impressed with, is that the population following protocols. I have a friend with a very popular restaurant here that he could sell it out every night. Well, he's at 25%, and when you go in, you have to have a mask on, and everybody's wearing their mask. Every place outside of their car or when they're actually eating, you cannot go any place in Puerto Rico and not see people with a mask on. Maybe a jogger on Isla Verde where it's really hot, but he'll have a mask in his pocket. And they just follow the protocol, and even when you go to a bar, they stay away from each other. So, I think if you follow these protocols, at least until we get through the pandemic period, that we can function a little bit normal.
Yeah,
right.
And that's what, like, I've realized by going out and doing what I do, whether I go to the beach or go to the store, or I'm going to have a beer this weekend with a friend at an outdoor bar. You can do it safely. And that's kind of, everybody just got too excited in Florida. Everybody got too excited in California and Arizona and in Texas. And they're just like, it doesn't matter. And now you're seeing what's happening. So I'm really happy. When can we, so right now I can get on a plane from New York and go to Puerto Rico and stay in your hotel, correct?
Yes, you can. It's just not marketed until July 15th when she goes into the final phase.
Okay.
Right.
Well, people are flying down here. I have probably 10% of my guests right now are from the States, and they stay for a long time. I interestingly enough, I had 2 guests. We never closed the hotel because we had 2 guests
Right.
that got here February 15th and then didn't want to go back to New York and are still here.
Wow.
So they had a whole hotel to themselves with room service every day for the last 3-4 months.
What a crazy experience.
So I'd like to take you up on your offer of offering free rooms to workers on the front lines of supermarkets, because when I was 11 years old, I bagged groceries at ShopRite on Ocean Avenue in Sheepshead Bay. Am I eligible?
No, you didn't face the pandemic, my friend.
What about guys that did flipping hamburgers at the Wendy's drive-through line in 1988? All right. Don't even bother. I can take a hint.
Tested enough without you 2 guys testing it.
Rich, any final thoughts, sir?
No, hopefully July 15th, once we open up formally in our last phase here in Puerto Rico. We're 50% in restaurants, by the way. Beaches are open, social distancing, pools are open. Hopefully on July 15th, people will want to get away to a safe place. in a safe environment and still in the United States. Remember, no passport required. You can get tested when you get down here, or you could just go to the place that you're going to reside at, let them know, and enjoy Puerto Rico. It's a very, very safe, viable vacation destination right now.
Excellent.
And the flights are very, very reasonable, just FYI.
All right. Well, let's take a look at some flights, Anthony. Maybe we got to go do a show from down there too. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. Rich, thank you so much. I'd love to. I'm serious. I'd love to.
Look forward to hosting you down here.
Why don't we book it July 15th? Why don't we formally go down there and we'll open up the hotel for him?
Yeah, we could do the show on the beach.
Let's go. Glenn, I'm in. I'm serious. I'm in. July 15th, I'm there.
All right, let's do it.
Well, what's going to happen is what happened in Vegas. He's going to wind up in Puerto Rico, and I'm going to wind up here.
Yeah, right. All right, Rich,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you for doing such a great thing for your community. Thank you. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I love that. He's giving back to the people that need it most.
Absolutely. And he sparked an idea in my brain that I'm actually going to talk to the people running the fundraiser for us about. So it's great. And like he said, and I'm glad he was honest about it, he's like, he can absorb those 300 rooms and it's an accounting error. Like with such a big hotel like that, it's nothing. It means like 175,000 over a period of time, over that period of time, over however long. I mean, it's not going to impact him either way. If they're worried about the 175,000 over a period of 6 months, they got bigger problems.
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely right. So coming up in just a moment, we got iconic hotelier Harris Rosen. I'm really looking forward to having him.
He is. Yeah. Tell people who he is before he comes on, so we don't embarrass him. Like, we're
going to totally embarrass him because he's so freaking awesome.
The legend that he is.
Yeah. I mean, what I loved about his story is it's a real hard scrabble story of starting with nothing, finding his way in the hospitality business, buying into a hotel, and then just kind of going from there and really becoming the centerpiece of hospitality, being in the right place at the right time with the right skill set to really create an amazing business that employs thousands and thousands of people in the Central Florida area. Plus, he gives back so much to the community, and that's what we're going to be talking about today.
I was at one of his hotels, and I asked one of the people working there, "How do you like working for the company?" She started to cry. She's like, "They've done so much for me. They give full medical benefits. They gave educational benefits." She started to cry.
Wow, that's incredible. All right, so I have a feeling we're going to all wind up getting teary-eyed, but let's do it all together with Mr. Rosen. Let's bring him in. Mr. Rosen, thank you so much for being here today. Before we get started, an on-air apology for the horrible tech mess up that we had when we were supposed to have you on a few weeks ago during our live coverage in Vegas. Those of you who don't know, I was broadcasting in front of the Bellagio. It got so hot before 9 a.m. that all of our gear kind of stopped. So thank you so much for joining us. Really respect you. The podcast that I did with you a couple of years back was such an amazing show, and learning about you was such a privilege to learn about what you do for your community. So thanks for being here. Yeah, thank you.
It's also funny to be honest. He said one of our guests, we have to reschedule him. I said, all right, no problem. We'll reschedule him. They'll understand. He goes, it was Mr. Rosen. I go, Mr. Rosen. You can't reschedule Mr. Rosen. So it's an honor. It's an absolute honor. And anytime I speak to one of your employees, no matter what hotel I stay at, they just can't say enough about your company. So it's an honor to be in the same industry as you.
So tell us a little bit about what this process has been like for you in regards to what you're doing for your employees, how you're thinking about bringing them back, and help the positive energy going as we move forward.
See a note that says my mic is muted. Can you hear
You're
me?
Fine now. We can hear you. Yep.
Okay, good. Okay. I'm sorry. You have to repeat.
Sure. I'll totally ask you again. So we've been through this difficult time. Florida is hopefully going to get set to reopen. I know there's some setbacks happening right now, but what have you been doing to assist your employees during this period? What are you thinking about? You're always somebody who puts them first. How have you handled it through this situation, and what do you think about?
Well, March, we decided that when things started really looking rather bleak, we decided that we would help all of our salaried associates. And so we decided to provide them with about 60% of their pay, even though we furloughed all of our associates except those that were working in one of our hotels. I did it because I thought it was the right thing to do. And so we had March, April, May, June, and now July coming up. And my total expenditure for those 5 months will be $30 million.
Wow.
The great difficulty that we have is that immediately prior to the pandemic, we built a new operations building. We built a new laundry, state-of-the-art laundry, and I provided a donation to the Rosen College of Hospitality Management. Combined, that was about $50 million.
Woo.
And so now this horrible virus occurs. And I said, no, we're going to continue to do the right thing. Unfortunately, we can't continue much longer. We have our philanthropic initiatives that we support, and we're going to continue supporting them. Unfortunately, the 8 properties we have, only one is open. This has been something that took us all by surprise. Never, ever, ever did we anticipate the difficulties that we have encountered.
Right.
And so my philosophy has always been, always try to do the right thing. And I've tried, but at this point in time, I don't know how much longer I continue to do this.
Right. Yeah, it's getting extremely difficult. Do you think that you're going to be able to start reopening some of these properties soon?
No, quite the opposite. Things are looking more desperate now here in Florida.
Yes.
Than they were just about a month or 2 ago, when we were anticipating opening 2 more properties.
Right.
But Department of Health in Florida last weekend posted a suggesting that if you have more than 50 people attending a meeting here in Florida, please cancel.
Yep.
The next day, we had 4 major conventions canceled.
One of them was the AHOA conference that we were set to attend, and we did a special report on that.
We've been talking to them, and they are such a wonderful group. We love them. They all feel like brothers to me,
right?
Sister. And then they said, your own Department of Health said stay away,
right?
And so they canceled, and it was just heartbreaking. So we decided not to open our Shingle Creek property. And we are opening one of our leisure properties. We'll have 2 properties open. And I'm doing it mostly because hurricane season is approaching. And we have a reputation here in town over the past 46 years of taking really good care
yes.
of our Floridian friends who have to move out of their homes with their pets, with their children, with whatever it is they need to be comfortable. And we have always taken care of them with rates that are generally 50% to 70% less than what we normally charge. And so we didn't want them to feel abandoned. So we'll have 2 properties open with about 2,000 rooms. And we hope and pray that hurricane season is not going to be a major event.
Right.
But we're prepared.
Yeah.
So in Florida, with what is happening, and we really thought things would be opening, and maybe Disney World is going to now extend their opening.
They're going to have to.
What is the next step that you want the government of Florida to do? What are the steps that will help you get your businesses open? What do you think, if you were sitting as a governor or as a mayor, what you think is very, very important?
Recently, we were privileged to host at Shingle Creek for a roundtable discussion of Vice President Pence and Governor DeSantis. I was asked to say a few words, and I did. I said that we need to open our businesses as quickly as we can, with two caveats. We must screen employees in that particular business every single day. And we must screen every client, customer, guest that enters our facility, and continue to do that throughout the day. Now, people would say, well, screening isn't perfect. No, that's true. Testing is perfect, but unfortunately, we don't have a test that will provide us results within a relatively short period of time. The screening that we have screen about 60 or 70 people, believe it or not, in 1 minute. It is like a metal detector, but it works much more quickly. It is a thermal detector. We already have them. We have them set up and ready to go, but sadly, no guests, because only 2 of our properties will be open.
Right.
And so that's the answer, to ensure that your associates are healthy, make sure that everyone entering your facility is healthy, and then open for business. We have to open. The economy has been devastated. And most of that is a result of, I think, poor management on the part of the public sector.
And we just spoke to someone in Jamaica, and we spoke to someone in Puerto Rico, and everything you just said is what they're doing. And I think that I can't agree with you more. Here in New York, things are starting to open slowly. So far, so good. And when you go out, you wear a mask and you stay away from each other. And when you're on the beach, there are people, nobody's on top of each other at the beach unless you know each other. So you got to go slow to go fast. And I can't agree with you more. And it's heartbreaking, because you've been a person in this industry that has seen everything. And that when I can see it in your eyes and I can feel it in your tone, that you're a little shocked that it's gotten so bad in Florida that you can't reopen.
You're absolutely correct. We've lived through a lot. We've lived through a lot here in Orlando, but nothing compares to what is happening to us now. Nothing. Right. And the great tragedy is that we have no control over our destiny. If the Department of Health says what they said and people cancel conventions, we suffer the consequences. And that's what's been going on now for 5 months. And it's really devastating. And it is very difficult for us, those of us who are accustomed to making decisions ourselves, finding solutions to problems they encounter. It's very difficult suddenly not to be able to control one's own destiny. And that's what many of us are living through right now. I feel badly sounding so somber, but it is a terrible situation right now. We're better. We hope and we pray that it will. But when?
Right.
We don't anticipate any real improvement until 2021. And that's 7 months away. And that's really scary.
Yeah.
And when someone like you, who's the most positive person in the industry, is somber and feels the worst thing you can do to an entrepreneur like yourself is to take control out of their hands. That's a death blow. I mean, that's literally taking your oxygen away from you. And usually, I think you said words that I think I want to get back to, because those are critical when an entrepreneur needs that to breathe. It's control. Now, they don't need to control everything, but they need to control their destiny. So if they say, okay, you can't go left, okay, I'll go right. But when you say you can't go left, you can't go right, you can't go backwards, you can't go straight, that's enough to kill an entrepreneur. So how do you deal that with every day where you've gone 100 miles an hour in your career, in your life, and you've done amazing things for this industry? Like, what do you do in the morning to get yourself going again? Because and really, I want you to talk to that young hospitality exec, or that young student, or even that older exec that just got furloughed. What do you do? This industry seems like it's closing in on us, and we don't know where to go. And I'm getting those calls every day. It's like, Anthony, it was bad, but it got worse. And now I think I got to leave the industry. What do you say to that person? How do you get through it? And what do you
Great
say to that
question.
Listen, that's a great question. I wish I had a good answer. What I try to do, because I'm not a youngster anymore, I try to stay healthy. I try to reduce stress. This morning and every morning, I do a 1.5 mile swim at
Wow.
our Shoulder Creek Resort. And it's a wonderful time for me. It's peaceful. I think about things without any interruptions, just doing my swim, doing my turns, up and back, up and back, up and back. And that has been a lifesaver for me. When I get back into the office, I can feel the stress. What's going to happen next?
Mm-hmm.
Because we never really know what's around the corner. And as you said, I'm used to controlling my own destiny. Oh, not 100% of it, but as much of it as I possibly can. And now suddenly I feel really helpless. And it's a feeling that hopefully, as time moves on, will dissipate, and I will be back to normal again, and we will operate our properties the way we once have. Look, I am the most blessed individual on earth. My mom's family came from Austria-Hungary. My dad's family came from Belarus. I was born on New York City's Lower East Side, between the East River, Little Italy, the Bowery, and Chinatown. Not exactly a gated community. First one to go to college in the family. First one to serve in the military as an officer. And here I am today. That's crazy. Only in America.
Right.
Only in America. And I've been kind of privileged for 46 years. We just celebrated our 46th anniversary on June 24th. And now suddenly I feel so helpless. And so it's been a very difficult time for me. And I suspect it's not going to get any easier, as I said, for at least another 5, 6, or 7 months.
So right now, if you're an employee working for your company, if I was a front desk person in your company, because I missed it because I really couldn't hear. That's why I put my earphones on, my headphones. Are they still getting medical benefits? Are they still getting salary? Tell me how that's working.
And you may know that we probably have one of the most sophisticated healthcare plans anywhere, not only in hospitality, but anywhere. If you're an hourly associate and you work for me, you pay $800 a year for health insurance.
It's amazing.
If you have pharmaceuticals, you go to Walmart, you pick them up, I get the bill. If you're admitted to the hospital, $750 is most you pay for 2 visits. After that, you pay nothing. So we had a little preemie born several years ago in the hospital for a long period of time. The bill was over $2 million.
Wow.
Mom and dad paid $750. Now, when you love associates as much as we do, and if you work with me for a couple of years and you're going to college, I pay your tuition. If you do those kinds of things, and suddenly you're confronted with this kind of situation, in God's name do you do? So to answer your question, yes, all of our associates for the past 5 months, even though 95% of them have been furloughed, getting paid, salaried employees, healthcare, all of our associates, and we'll continue to do that as long as we can, but I don't know how much longer.
Right.
Listen, the one thing that saves us, we don't have a penny of debt. It's really weird. But my two granddaddies who lost everything during the Depression sat me down and said, Boychik, you're going to be a businessman because you have something very special in your genes. I know what that meant. But they said, please listen to your two granddads. Don't ever borrow money.
Right.
We did, and we lost everything. Don't do that, Boychik. So we have no, but even being debt-free, we're losing millions and millions and millions of dollars every single month. 6 million every single month.
You know, and I want to say, you know, for people that don't understand, when you're in a position that you're in, your biggest thing that you had to do when everything's going well is you had to say no to money. You had to say no to people trying to buy. You had to say no to people coming in and wanting to take equity. You had to say no to say, hey, I can give you $500 million, you know, take our money. And you had to say no to that. How do you stay that course? Because I learned from my father-in-law not to take on debt. He's still got all his cash, you know, behind the brick. So I've done the same thing where I don't take on debt. I don't borrow money. But how do you do it in your position when people, literally banks, are throwing money at you? How did you stay that course?
That's a great question. It's a great question.
You're on fire today, Anthony.
It's a great question. Never before until the pandemic have I even given that second of thought. I must confess that at night, and I don't sleep very well at night anymore, I have thought about the possibility. It's very, very, very remote, but I have thought about it. I want to be able to keep supporting our little company without borrowing a penny between now and when this nightmare ends. That's my goal. That's my dream. I have 3 children. I lost my youngest son, Adam, to cancer a couple of years ago. 3 children left. I would love to leave our little business to family. And that's my hope and my prayer.
Right. Well, I'm sorry for the loss, and it's just an inspiration to hear someone like you talk, and you, because of the way you ran your business and because of your big heart, you're able to keep people through this. And it may be where you have to make some changes that you weren't willing to make, but to bring people 5 months through this, where in Orlando and in Florida, where it's been hardest hit, and be able to support them. One thing they don't have to worry about, because everyone's dealing with who's got a family member who's got COVID, or God forbid, who's lost somebody to cancer, or who's got other issues outside of COVID. And now to lose their benefits and to lose their salary would have been devastating. So I just hope to God that this industry, 100 years from now, when you're no longer here, that they remember, and that young people around you that then go on to be you realize what they were given and they give back. Because I would imagine what you've done over the years that you've been in business, you've spawned thousands of people that are now giving back because of you. And that, to me, is the most important thing. It's one great thing to take care of your guests. It's one great thing to have a clean room. But to take a busboy that makes it and then turns around and realizes he's in charge of a company and he goes, I'm going to do what Mr. Rosen did. That, to me, is everything.
So it's interesting that you say that, because I was, about 6 months ago, I was shopping at one of the pharmacies here in town. And I went to pick up a prescription. And there was a young man behind the desk. And he asked for my credit card. And he said, I thought you looked familiar. I said, oh, really? I've been here before. He said, no. Aren't you Mr. Rosen? I said, yes, I am. He said, I live in Tangelo Park. I said, oh my God. He said, I'm a pharmacist. I said, God bless you. He said, because of you. He said, you gave me preschool when I was 2, 3, and 4. You paid
Amazing.
for college education. And now look where I am. And I almost started to cry. But hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of youngsters from underserved communities like Tangelo Park and Paramore have benefited from the program. And I'm so proud of that.
You know, and you made me cry because I remember talking to a young lady in one of your hotels. I was just saying before you came on, and she started to cry because she was like, "This is the best company in the world. I would never leave. Like, this is where I want to spend my career." And someone says here, "Mr. Rosen seems so sad," and I disagree with that. What I see is you're reflecting on how to go forward. That you're challenging yourself at a level that you haven't been challenged before to figure this out and figure out how to keep this. So that may seem somber, and that may seem you're just being very quiet right now with yourself to be able to figure this out. So I don't take it as sad. I take it as I need to calm down right now so I can figure this out and so I can get through this.
I agree with you completely. And you know, once in a while, I must confess that during these difficult times, I become a little bit sad and somewhat depressed. But look what we've been through in the past 46 years, and we'll overcome this. We shall overcome. There's no doubt about it. But it's not easy. It's not easy.
No. And one of the things I've been saying the last couple of days, and it's going to be in my book, happiness is hard. And your happiness, it's hard. It's hard to be happy. But you have to work at it every single day. Like this morning, you went for your run. This morning, I went on the beach and just took my phone calls on the beach. You have to work at being happy because it's hard. And that little smile that was on your face from that pharmacist said everything. Like that is what keeps you going. And again, this industry is in debt to you. And if every company ran the way you ran, this would be even a better country.
Well, God bless you. Thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate it.
Thank you. This has been an incredible conversation. Before you go, our good friend Del Ross of the show said that you have a lot of support to Give Kids the World. Why don't you tell us something positive and uplifting about that organization?
Well, yes, it is wonderful. We support it, of course, enthusiastically. And they do wonderful work. I suspect they're having some challenging times right now, like everyone else, but they really do a wonderful job, and we're so proud of having them right here in Orlando.
Yeah, that's.
I remember when I'm sorry, Glenn. I remember when I was at Nickelodeon. I ran Nickelodeon for a while. I was the vice president of Nickelodeon for Miller Global. We actually bought it from John Glenn as we bought that resort. And I met the gentleman that created Give Kids the World. What was his name? I forgot. I have his book. I can't remember his name, the gentleman who created it.
Oh, boy, I got to tell you, he was a good friend of mine. He passed sadly. And
he's
my
passed?
memory once was.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. He would die if he knew that I haven't been able to remember his name, because he and I were really close friends. Oh my God! As soon as he hang up, I'll remember his name, unfortunately. But his wife has done a beautiful job.
But for people that don't know what that is, it's you basically go there, all expenses paid. You and your family, and you stay there and you enjoy Orlando, and they take care of everything. And to see the kids that come, a lot of them are terminal. It was really an uplifting thing for me. I remember sitting on a bench and just crying for like literally an hour. Wow. Because it really made me realize, as a vice president of Nickelodeon, I went down there to turn it around. And I was so focused on business, and I was so focused, taking care of families. And what we all do is taking care of and serving them and being servants to them. But I forgot why I was doing it. And that place made me realize why I was doing it. It's truly an inspiration.
I'm absolutely going crazy now, not being able to remember the name. Thank you for doing that for me.
Henry Landworth?
Oh, Henry Landworth.
Thank you, Steve. That was one of our viewers put it up there. So thank you for that.
He came to my office personally sat in my office at Nickelodeon for hours telling me why Nickelodeon and why our hotel should be involved with their organization. And he treated me like I was the only person in the world.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Well.
Excellent.
So before we go, Glenn, I usually ask last question. So I just want to ask the pre-last question.
Okay.
You are a young person about to start in your career. I'm talking about you specifically. Is there anything you would change in what you've done in the last 46 years?
So I'm asked that question on occasion. And we've got the Rosen College here, so I am there on occasion to talk to the young people who are in school there. First, you have to find something you really love doing. If you can't, you carry on and do the best you can. But if you can do something that you really enjoy doing, that's a great advantage. You have to be honest. We all know when we're doing something that's inappropriate. We're going to make mistakes along the way. Try to correct them and move on. Treat others the way you would like to be treated. In the Army, I learned many things. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't get complicated. Take one day at a time. Do the best you can. Be honest. Work hard. Work harder than anyone else if you can. I think that's one of the things that helped me in the people. And treat others the way you would like to be treated. Now, that doesn't seem incredibly complicated, but that's under the umbrella of KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
You said something. It doesn't have to be complicated, and I want to go back to healthcare. You figured out a way to make sure that that's one thing that everybody worries about and leaves jobs for and goes to other organizations for. You figured out a way that, it'll cost you more money, but let's do the right thing. And by doing the right thing, you make things less complicated. So when you do that, you have people stay longer. You have people tell their family members to come work for you. You don't have to play that thing in Orlando. And I was in the Orlando market for 2 years where they'll go down the block for 25 cents more to be a housekeeper or a front desk clerk. You don't have to play that game. So by doing that, you made your life simpler. You did the right thing, but made your organization in the long run probably save money by not having people pop to go to other places all the time. The loyalty in your company is second to none. So yes, it looks like, wow, that's extraordinarily generous. But from a business perspective, it's also really good business because you keep it simple.
That's absolutely correct. Now, you said something that was interesting. You said that it might be more expensive, my healthcare plan. In fact, since we started Rosen Care, we've saved about $400 million compared to the sort of the stereotypical healthcare plan that most private sectors entities have. We created our own insurance company, so we're self-insured.
Wow.
We built our own primary care facility, which very, very few companies have. We staff it ourselves, and we focus laser on keeping people well, healthy, with annual physicals, easy access to the medical center. If you're working for Rosen and you're not feeling well, you hop in your car, we will transport you to the medical center. And we keep things so simple. Pharmaceuticals are free. Why? Because we want people to take them. And in many instances, they're so expensive that people say, I can't afford them. Well, that doesn't do anybody any good. We have a beautiful fitness facility there. And as I said, hospital, $750 maximum. I don't care what the total is. $300 the most you'll pay for a hospital in a year. That's a wonderful advantage. That makes sure that people who need to be hospitalized are, because they're not overwhelmed by the debt that they're going to incur. And so we put all of that together and the outcome is absolutely amazing. Our cost per covered life, which is how you measure the expense, is half of what the cost per covered life is nationwide. So if our little template for healthcare were replicated throughout America in the private sector and public sector, the United States of America would most likely save somewhere between $1 trillion a year.
Jesus. Wow.
Amazing.
So why didn't you ever run for president?
You know, that's a great idea, but I think that people believe that healthcare is a eradicated subject, and they're best served not getting too involved. We have proven over 20 years that it's not that complicated. Look, here's how simple it is. If you keep people healthy, you save money on healthcare.
Right.
That ain't complicated.
Yeah.
Listen, your mile and a half swim in the morning is what's probably kept you really healthy and really not only physically healthy but mentally healthy.
Well, I don't know about the mental part. I couldn't enter his name. I don't know how mentally healthy I am. Yes.
Yeah, somebody wants to know if you've ever done any consulting with the government on a healthcare approach, and if not, please do.
Boy, that's interesting, because Newt Gingrich just wrote a book, and we were stunned when we turned to the chapter on healthcare. There were 3 pages on Rosen care.
Oh yeah,
wow.
We have been visited by congressmen and senators. We've spoken to a plethora of individuals in the public sector. Nada. I don't know why, but we just carry on as best we can. We've spoken to some very, very wealthy individuals about replicating our program in their companies. Nada. It's a little bit like what we hear now about underserved communities. We've been working with one underserved community for 28 years and another for about 5 years. Preschool, every 2, 3, and 4 year old goes to school free. Every youngster that is going to a 4-year college, public 4-year college, or is going to trade school or community college, every penny of it is paid.
wow.
And so you wonder, because we've spoken to some of the wealthiest individuals, some of the largest foundations in America, and we wonder why no one else in the United States of America have replicated the program. If indeed we hear espoused Black Lives Matter, if they matter, do something about it. And the best thing to do is to adopt an underserved community, provide free preschool and free college, because there is inequality in opportunity.
Right.
Right?
That's absolutely right.
And if these voices aren't able to go, look, if you graduate from high school, you will earn over a lifetime $500,000 more than if you didn't graduate. If you go on and graduate in college, add close to another $1 million. So $500,000 and $1 million, $1.5 million by graduating from high school and college. Would that change our economy? Dramatically.
Right.
And people that own large corporations would benefit, because what they're doing essentially is creating thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of customers for their business.
So between the way you take care of your employees, between healthcare, between college, you create your own ecosystem. You're basically, your own little island, and you basically, I'm sure you probably grow your own tomatoes in the backyard.
Right. And it's funny because you're saying this whole thing is horrible because you've lost control, but it looks like everything you've done, you've looked to create control that you have in every single element of your business, which is pretty incredible.
Listen, that's right. But I was in control. I mean, nobody told me to build my own medical center. Nobody told me to create our own insurance company. We did it. But now I feel helpless.
Right.
I mean, suddenly in the newspaper that everyone's reading, it says if you have more than 50 people, don't come to Florida. I didn't do that, but I'm going to suffer the consequences of it.
That's right.
Anyway.
Well, thank you so much for being here. You're an incredible inspiration. We really, really appreciate your time. And
I think
hopefully,
I babbled too much, though.
No, this has been unbelievable. If any, I should have talked a little more. I would have loved to ask you some more questions, but Anthony's on a roll today. Go, Anthony.
We've had some great leaders here on this show. Everybody from Jerry Anzarello to Horst Schulze, now you and other people. But the one thing that's unique about what you've done is you've done it, like you said, with your grandfather's vision. And you didn't go work for Ritz-Carlton. You didn't go work for Four Seasons. You didn't go and work in a company. You created your destiny. You created this company little by little. When everybody said, no, don't do this. When everybody said, you're crazy. You can't have your own medical facility. You're going to go bankrupt. You can't have your own college. It costs too much money. You can't pay benefits for people, all year round. You can't keep them on for 5 months. You're going to find a way because you were just born to find a way. And I am literally honored and blessed. And this is probably my favorite interview I've ever done. So thank you so much. And I've heard a lot about you. I've been in your hotels, but now to get a chance to actually talk to you has been one of the highlights of my career.
Thank you so much. God, people. Thank you.
Thank you, Harris. We really appreciate it. Mr. Rosen, have a great day. Thank you. And we'd love to have you on again when things get to the other side of all of this. Okay, sir? Thank you. Whew. I think we all need a deep breath after that. That was.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. I mean, that was really spectacular. That is the heart of hospitality. Everything that we all could hope to be when it comes to hospitality. He is that vision of it. I didn't think this conversation when we booked it was going to go in this direction, but wow, it was extremely moving and incredible to be a part of that.
What I got out of it and what I appreciated was he came the way he was feeling. Mm-hmm. Now you may get him tomorrow, or you may get him a month from now, and you'd be like, is that the same guy? He didn't put on airs. He was feeling, and I wouldn't say depressed and I wouldn't say sad. What I would say is he's back in a
contemplative.
Corner. Yeah, that's it. Boom, done. Period. As my daughter would say, period. and you have to be a leader and to be a businessman like he is. Mm-hmm. And listen, his stories are legendary. When you meet somebody in the industry and you go, hey, what do you think of so-and-so?
Right.
And if you're lucky, a lot of people say, hey, he's a good guy. And some people say, not so good. But, hopefully if you're lucky, you say he's a good guy. Hopefully most people say, hey, Anthony's not a bad guy. Right. But never have I met anyone that when you ask about Mr. Rosen, do they square up on you, stop, and have to tell you a story that's rooted into their soul? And that is a person that is just a whole nother level human.
Yep, absolutely. I think the whole theme of today's show is if you give out and you put that positive energy out into the universe, it's going to come back to you, right? Because over at Aimbridge and the Hyatt Regency there, all of these people are going to be able to come and experience this hotel and create a lot of positive energy that's going to get more locals to want to come and stay at his hotel. Sure, he was out there and they did it selflessly, but selflessness leads to positive impact on your life. When Mr. Harris Rosen is talking about putting all these systems into place, Anthony, you're right. He spent a lot of money, but saved so much more and created a virtuous circle within his organization that elevates the entire community. How amazing and wonderful is that?
Do you know how many lives he has saved by people having a job? Do you know how many people are not in homeless shelters because of him? Do you know how many people are staying healthy because of him? You know how many people put their kids through college because of him? I mean, when you leave, I can hope that I've done 1% of what this man has done. And he's created it in his basement, in his little brain. He's the Einstein of the hotel business.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So any final thoughts before we wrap up today?
I'm just blessed that I get to do the show and that I get to talk to people like him because, again, I this is my soul, this business, and to have people like him. And when I say Mr. Rosen is the Einstein of this business, I believe it and I mean it because after he's done things that no other company has ever done. Yeah. Like no other company's ever done. He's in the book, talking about healthcare. He's figured it out. You know why he figured it out? because he's his own person, because he wanted to, because it was important, because he wanted to, because it was important. And as a businessman, I didn't want to let that go unsaid. It was also a business decision.
Right. But it's
it
a
was
business decision.
Driven by his heart.
That's right. Right. And that's the whole thing. You don't have to make business decisions just based on cold calculated numbers. But even if you do, sometimes it works out that you could do the right thing and make money at the same time. And that's what I'd like to see a little bit more of that in our universe. So next week, Anthony, another interesting week. We've got Mike Stengel. For those of you who don't know him, he runs all of the Gaylord hotels with Marriott. So that's going to be a really great conversation. I've noticed a big shift to a lot of local business with locals coming into their different properties, check out the water parks and stuff. So we'll talk about that. And we've also got CBS Television's Peter Greenberg. I last saw him. I got sit next to him at the Forbes travel event. So we're going to be having him on and a couple of other great interviews as well next week.
Wow, another lineup of great guests. And, one of our favorite guests that are on the not guests, but fans are on the show every single day making comments, John Brinkman, said, good show today, man. Thank you, John. And thank you for being a very, 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 very loyal follower, as well as Colleen and Daniel. And, I like to see these names every single day. It really makes us feel like we're doing the right thing. And you guys ask great questions. I appreciate not only you here, but you ask us great questions. So I appreciate passion. That's what it's all about. Mr. Rosen, excuse me. Exudes it. Thank you for sharing his wisdom. You're welcome. Again, I'll be talking about this interview for a very long time.
All right. So, you know what I'm going to do? Because this was so great. I think you guys want to learn more about his story. I did an extensive podcast with him a while back. I will put up the audio version on our No Vacancy with Glenn Hausman podcast feed and our Checking In with Anthony and Glenn feed. So you could hear that one. So whichever one you subscribe to, you could just download it straight from there. He has such an incredible story. It'll be great for all of you to hear it.
You know what? And the good news is in New York City and New York State, you can get a haircut now, Glenn.
Tuesday. I'm going for a haircut Tuesday at 4:30. We might even broadcast it live.
So what's been the
I'm just joking about that. We're not doing that.
Our producer wanted me to shave live and you get a haircut live.
Yeah, well, he wanted me to use a Flowbee.
What's the so Sarah says shave it.
We're in trouble now.
I want to ask the audience. Because Anthony and Glenn both said that would not be good for the show, and I think
I said it wouldn't be good for my head.
I think the audience would have loved to see you shave and loved to see you have cut your hair by yourself on air.
I'm not doing it. But it says grow a darker beard. Mika said grow a darker beard. I can't. I'm gray, man. This is what it is. And look at the back of my head. I can't see the back of my head, but look at it.
Whoa! I've never seen that before with you. You're usually so diligent, man.
Well, you know what? One of the things COVID made me realize, I have a brand. My brand is important to me. It's for my soul. So my soul tells me, don't shave. So I'm not shaving.
All right. Well, you got the suit and tie on.
And I would have shaven because I want to wear the suit and tie. I don't want to shave. So my brand is authenticity. Whereas before I'd be like, no, it's important for my brand to shave. And no one's ever seen me with a beard. They don't even know if I have gray hair. And I was just like, you know what? But my beard or no beard doesn't make my brand.
That's right.
Might not make my brand.
Unfortunately, my extra long and wispy hair is now my brand. So I think I'm stuck in with it. Grow a mullet. Hey, it's coming in. Colleen, I should put up my, I think I had one in my high school yearbook picture in 1988. I had like spiky hair in the front, like mullet stuff happening in the back. It was not attractive.
You don't want to, Mike, you don't want to see me with a wig. Matter of fact, if Jeff pulls it up on Monday, we'll show you what it looks like when I have a wig. So
I like that, Mike. Maybe I will shave my head.
So Glenn, why don't you bring us out?
All right. Hey, guys, thank you so much for being here all week. What an incredible, inspirational way to end this week. So I hope what you got out of it was a lot of good practical information, what some companies are doing, and some good inspiration in order to get you through the weekend. We love that you're paying attention to us every day. Share the show. Let other ones know it. Hey, subscribe to our newsletter. Text the word hotel to 66866. That's the word hotel to 66866. And thank you so much. Of course, go to hotelreboot.com and Anthony's Hotel Hospitality Success. Go check that out as well. Now, that is quite a hairdo. All right, everybody. Remember this. You got one life, so blazed on. And Anthony?
I got hair.
See you guys next week.